Hi, the purpose of this video is to continue with Chapter 2 and discussing how we format paragraphs. I'm going to be talking about in this video how we indent paragraphs. So I'm going to click here in this paragraph. We know that orchids have the reputation of being difficult to maintain, and what we talked about in the previous video was some things here on the paragraph group on the Home tab. You can see I have my Show Hide button on. We've talked about the importance of that a few times now. And this paragraph has justified alignment, meaning that it's flush on the left and the right-hand side. But we're going to be talking about indenting. So I'm going to click on the paragraph dialog box launcher. And I'm going to hit the tab key so I'm brought down to the indentation section here where I have my left indent. And you'll notice that if I can use these little spinner buttons so I can spin up, right, and then go up to 0.5, which is going to give it a 1/2 inch left indent. So that means that this left margin, once I hit OK, and you can see it in the preview box, is going to be indented by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and you'll see how the whole paragraph is left indented. You notice here on the ruler that this shows you the left indent, which means that I could also use this to adjust my indent if I wanted to use it on the ruler. If you don't see your ruler displayed, you need to click on the View tab and just make sure that ruler is checked. As you can see here, that would make the ruler come on and off. Okay, so that's a left indent. The whole left side of the paragraph is indented from the left-hand side. And next I'm going to do a right indent. So I'm going to go back to the paragraph dialog box launcher, and I'm going to hit the tab key. And this time, instead of using these spinners to spin it up or spin it down, I'm simply going to type in 0.5. Notice I don't have to type in the little quotation mark. That just is an indicator for inch. So I'm going to hit OK at this point, and you'll see now how this has been indented from the right margin. So that's a right indent. The whole paragraph is indented from the right margin. This is often done to sort of bring attention to a particular paragraph to set them apart from other paragraphs. Okay, so we have a left indent, we have a right indent. A paragraph can have one or the other or both. Now I'm going to click down on this paragraph. For this paragraph, what I want to do, imagine that you've typed a 10-page paper up and it's Friday and you want to go meet your friends at a restaurant at 5 o'clock, and you hand it off to your boss, and your boss says, well, this all looks great, but I really like it when each paragraph has the first line indented by 1/2 inch. And you're like, oh no, 10 pages, I got to go in and either hit space, 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 or hit tab at the front of every paragraph. That's going to take me forever. I'm going to be late meeting my friends. But the good news is that you don't have to do that. What you can do is you could highlight the whole document. Now, keep in mind, I'm doing one paragraph at a time. But obviously, if you had the whole document highlighted, then it would do it to everything that was highlighted, or whatever portion that you wanted it to be done to. So I'm clicked in this paragraph, and I'm going to go up to the paragraph dialog box launcher. And it's not a left or a right indent. But over here in the special category, I'm going to click on the drop-down list, and I see there's two different types of indent. And the first one that we're going to be talking about is the first line indent. So I pick first line, and I see here that it's first line by 0.5, which means first line by 1/2 inch. And I click OK, and my first line of my paragraph is indented by 1/2 inch, right? So you can see the rest of it is still at the left margin. So that's why it's only a first line indent, different than here, the left indent. So what's nice about that is you take that document back and you highlight the whole document, you come in, you give it a 1/2 line indent, and you are early to meet your friends for dinner. It's that easy to do. Okay. The next type of indent we're going to be talking about is one that you would often see for bibliographies, where you have your first line and then everything else is, your first line is at the left margin and everything else is indented in from that. So I'm going to click on the paragraph dialog box launcher, and it's in the same place as our first line indent was, because a paragraph can't have both the first line and a hanging indent. That just wouldn't make sense. So I'm going to make it a hanging indent. I'm going to leave it at 0.5, but just know that you could change this. Actually, I'll bring it down. I use the spinner down to 0.3. Okay, and then I click OK, and you see how it's hanging in from the first line. So that's what we call a hanging indent. Okay, one other thing I want to show you here. So all of those things we gained access by clicking on the paragraph dialog box launcher. But I'm going to be clicked down in this paragraph here, and I'm going to show you these two buttons here. So this one here is increase indent. So if I click on increase indent, what you'll notice is that it gives it a left indent of 0.5, right? And if I said, oh no, that's not what I want, I can decrease the indent, or if I can continually increasing the indent, see, it'll go up in increments of 0.5. So it goes to 0.5, 1, 1.5, and then I can use this decrease indent button, and that brings it back to 1. And you can always tell where it is, because if you look up on the ruler, that will also let you know. But if you click on the paragraph dialog box launcher, you'll see that it sets it at 1. Okay, the other place that you can do this, because Word always tries to give you multiple ways to do the same thing, is if you clicked on the Layout tab, the same place that we looked at for spacing before and after our paragraph, you can see that the left and right indent is here as well. So if you decided that you wanted to give this a right indent, you could do so like that. Okay, so that would give you your left and your right indent of 1. So that pretty much concludes our discussion about indenting paragraphs.